Hey guys, I'm Mitch,
I'm Austin.
and this is Super Platinum Achievement, and Sony might be a little bit worried about what Microsoft could do with the power that it is purchasing here. We're going to talk about it in just a second. First off, guys, if you're new to this channel, smash that subscribe button down below. It really helps us out. We appreciate it. Also, at the end of this video, if you liked it, give us a big thumbs up by hitting that like button and share with your friends as well. It always helps us out. So, yeah, Sony was part of the recent interviews in the Brazil area for the approval of, in case you didn't hear, Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard. So it still hasn't passed the approval. I believe there are 20 different regions that have to approve it, and Brazil is one of them. Well, part of this hearing, I guess you'd call it, they called upon a bunch of different gaming companies to ask their thoughts. And Sony voiced their opinion that they don't think it's a good idea, basically because Microsoft would then have too much power with one franchise alone, Call of Duty. So
I mean, I'm not surprised by this because obviously Sony is, they're worried that they're going to lose Call of Duty entirely, which it's still a possibility because when they purchased this, of course, Microsoft's like, oh, Sony's still going to get Call of Duty because their contract says so up until 2024. But so after that point, we don't know what's going to happen.
They could totally change their
mind. And Sony's probably worried that they're going to get cut out of, the gaming Goliath that is Call of Duty. No argument. It is the biggest game every year to come out. And, so Sony's probably a little worried because, they have no option to combat Call of Duty as of yet. We'll discuss maybe that more later in the video, but yeah, it's like I understand their trepidation with this whole thing, and when I first saw it, when we first talked about this, it almost seemed like too good to be true, and it's been a lot of roadblocks, this purchase of Activision Blizzard for Microsoft, and there's still rumors that it might not ever go through, so we'll see. This is just the next step in that saga.
Like you said, I mean, I can understand where Sony's coming from. I'd be a little scared, if you will, as well, because that is a huge franchise, probably the biggest franchise ever.
Yeah.
And if Microsoft changes their mind, which they will, I mean, it starts with when they bought Bethesda. They're like, oh, we didn't do this to take games from anybody, and then proceeded to take games away from PlayStation people.
Yeah, of course.
So now they're following the same sort of trend. They're like, oh, we're committed to keeping Call of Duty on PlayStation platforms. But then he just made it clear, oh, we're going to honor the existing agreements. And basically it's like, all right, is he just saying that so this will go through? And then once they own it, 3-4 years down the road, they can be like, we're going to make it exclusive now. It's going to be PC and Xbox only, or, timed exclusive and whatnot. And, I mean, obviously a timed exclusive would be just as bad as making it exclusive because the game comes out
once a year. Which maybe we'll see a change in the plan of a game once a year. Maybe they come out every 2 years since they are kind of moving to this, game as a service thing where, you buy a season pass and there's more content than the standard, Call of Duty game. We see that with Warzone. It's carried over through 3 different Call of Duty games. And I think an iteration of it will carry into the next version of Call of Duty. We'll see. Yeah, I can understand Sony having an issue with this because, Sony and, Activision used to have a good relationship. The stuff used to come out early for PlayStation for Call of Duty. Maps were like a 1 month on Call of Duty.
Modern Warfare 2 is still getting the early beta for PlayStation.
So this purchase was a slap in the face to Sony because they did have a good working relationship with Activision Blizzard. So I understand why they're upset, but I see 2 outcomes here. The deal doesn't go through. Microsoft doesn't have to fork over all the billions of dollars, and Call of Duty stays on its own thing through Activision Blizzard if they ever figure out their issues. Or B, it does go through. Microsoft owns it, keeps it going for a couple of years and then does do an exclusive thing, where does that lead us? And Mitch and I have discussed this off camera. And I think that kind of it leads us to either Sony in studio creating a game to rival Call of Duty, or going on a spending spree and buying studios to rival studios.
Or just IP. And
or
before
IPs.
we get to that, Sony's exact quote here, let me read it off here. They said, "No other developer can devote the same level of resources and expertise in game development. Even if they could, Call of Duty is overly entrenched so that no rival, no matter how relevant, can catch up." Which is very true. I mean, Call of Duty owns that market, and other games have, tried and failed to overtake it. I mean, Battlefield has a decent following, but I would say even EA would admit they're getting their butts kicked by Call of Duty. And they also own Medal of Honor. That died out a while ago, which will lead us into a future conversation here. You got Destiny, which Destiny is huge, but not on the same level as Call of Duty. So they're basically saying, it's too late. I mean, Call of Duty already owned it. It'd be like somebody making Madden exclusive.
Yeah, or
and
FIFA.
And then having to catch up with that by making another NFL game. You're just not going to gain it.
Which they should.
Seen it happen on past.
I didn't say that out. I didn't say that out loud.
On past consoles with NFL games, come and die. But it's one of them. But anyway, that leads us to what Austin and I did talk about.
Yeah.
And what Sony could do instead of basically whining about it happening. They need to gear up and deal with it by making some changes and, building up their arsenal here.
Yeah, so as Mitch just said, Destiny, they have Destiny, so they could, expand Bungie maybe and actually have Bungie do a dedicated first-person shooter game. Wouldn't be opposed to that because they do know what they're doing when it comes to that. Obviously, look at the original Halos, and obviously
Sony does officially own Bungie,
and they do own Bungie officially. That did go through not that long ago, so that could be a plausible thing, and that's the one I think is the most plausible. Is that happening?
Or they said that part of buying Bungie was to help them continue to produce these upcoming live service games. So maybe Sony's already ahead of the game and they're trying to combat it that way. We don't know. But the other way that we talked about, Austin, is
they might go ahead and buy. We think if they buy studios, we don't know what they would do at the most. One that make the most sense that would work in this vein would be Ubisoft. Ubisoft has said they are willing to be purchased, but for the price that they believe they're worth, which tells me they want billions of dollars. But it wouldn't be, I think, the worst thing for Sony to try to do that because they get all of a sudden the titles of Tom Clancy, so they can do anything in the Rainbow Six world or anything like that. Obviously, Siege is a big first-person shooter game, so they could continue that. And then they have the Divisions. They can do another online thing. They have all the Tom Clancy franchise, which would be huge for them. I
think that one's possible because doing the math on what these other studios and the purchases they've been, basically it takes about double the net worth of that studio or publisher to be able to buy them.
Yeah.
So Ubisoft, last I looked, I believe was worth around $6.7 billion.
So it'd be about
basically
$13 billion.
It would take about, probably I'd say, close to $15 billion.
$15 billion, which is possible. Yeah. Sony does have a ton of money as well. They're not like the little guys here in the
They're not
market.
Poor. And that was another thing. Last I looked, I believe they had like $26 million in cash.
Million
Obviously,
or billion?
Billion, sorry.
Yes.
That's nothing compared to Microsoft.
Yeah, of course.
Microsoft having, trillions.
I don't understand it. But, so yeah, we discussed that. Well. Purchasing Ubisoft or maybe look at their eyes towards EA because EA lately obviously has a lot of controversy and issues surrounding them, and obviously their games have not been releasing to the level that the consumer would like them at. Obviously, look at Battlefield 2042. Huge drop-off. The game was promising but just didn't deliver. So maybe if Sony was in control of that, we could see a better version of it to be more competitive with Call of Duty. Or instead of buying a studio, trying to buy an IP, like we mentioned earlier, Medal of Honor. who EA still has, like EA still owns the rights to that, but they aren't using it. So maybe they would be willing to sell it off for a price, obviously. Where Sony can then develop Medal of Honor, back into the market, because that was at one point the pinnacle of first-person shooter. Before Call of Duty really did come on the scene there. So it would be kind of fun to see Medal of Honor come back in that way. But that's just kind of, the few options. Or, like we said, they use, Bungie Studios to do stuff similar to Destiny. Or they just start a new studio. They could do that. They have the power. But obviously they want, it might just be easier for them to just completely acquire a studio that already has dedicated workers that have been doing that type of work. So.
Right. I think the Bungie is probably most likely. They're probably not going to take their other studios to work on anything else, because they've got all these IPs that are gold and they don't want to take away from those.
Yeah,
so they want to continue to farm that field.
And maybe to them a first-person online shooter isn't as important what they want to work on versus the single-player story-driven games that they are known to deliver on. So you never know. Like that could be where they're at, but they just want to make sure they are still in the market when it comes to a competitive first-person shooter. And these are kind of the most realistic options.
Yeah, and another option that we actually didn't talk about is another huge developer that is involved in shooter games, and that's Epic Games. I mean, you may have heard of a game called Fortnite. If you didn't know, Sony is very close with Epic Games and has invested a ton of money into Epic Games to help them continue to develop and have a great relationship with Sony. So that's another option as well. Maybe they just partner directly with Epic Games to make something to come back Call of Duty. We'll see. We're still a few years away from the possibility of Call of Duty leaving PlayStation. But you never know.
Because I think the current contract, like I said, was till 2024. So they got 2 more years to worry about it. And obviously they're going to know stuff before the general population will, way ahead of time. I mean, because they're probably already developing the next 2 Call of Duty games as we speak, and not even. So they do take several years to work on. So they probably maybe they're getting the writing on the wall that after these next 2 to come out, they're out of the deal. So maybe that's why they're having now they're trying to make sure this deal doesn't go through, or bring attention to it to the other people involved. So
but if it does go through and Sony doesn't combat it, then
I think
that's going to be a huge swing. That's going to be a huge swing in Microsoft's favor, because we know a lot of people buy consoles specifically for Call of Duty, and if it leaves PlayStation,
and there's plenty of Xboxes on Facebook Marketplace for like half off. So if you need to find one, you can.
But tons of people are going to jump ship and head over to Microsoft if Sony no longer has.
We'll see people getting onto the PC game. Maybe is more likely.
Maybe Xbox won't go up and they'll just switch to their PC, because I mean most PlayStation owners that I know personally have a PC. And
they're pretty faithful to their console. They're not gonna just completely ditch their PlayStation. I don't want to play God of War or anything like that anymore. I'm gonna just play Call of Duty on my Xbox. It's not gonna happen. So it might be the PC actually is probably the more realistic approach.
It will be. I mean, it will be a huge shift, no doubt. But it's not going to bury Sony by any means.
So
they've got options. We'll see what they do. They probably are going to do something to at least have a fallback plan if Call of Duty goes away. But let us know what you guys think. What do you think Sony's move should be to combat Microsoft? Do you think they're being whiny? Do you think they have a good point? Do you think the purchase should go through? Let us know all your opinions down in the comment section. We try to respond to everyone that we can, that is being able to respond to. Some of them, it's like you can't say anything to them. But anyway, if you guys like this video, make sure to give us a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and we hope to see you again on
Super Platinum Achievement.
We'll see you guys.
Bye.